What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Podcast. I am going to make this episode to be helpful in this time of unstable ground and uncertainty. And I am not going to be making commentary to make people outraged, as there's a lot of that going on. I'm not going to be talking about the news. I'm not going to be talking about Korea. I'm going to be talking specifically to people if you are feeling unsettled, but you don't want to be. You are someone that wants to be united with what Mother has asked us to do, which is hard, which is to not worry and to live a blessed family life, right? And to focus and to pray and to continue on, right? While keeping Mother and Father in our hearts as always, and Heavenly Parent. And you want to do that, but you're having a hard time. So this is for you. This is to be helpful. If you're expecting me to get outraged, I'm not going to. I'm not going to stoke that fire. I'm not going to do any of that. So if you're looking for that, this is not for you. But if you want to find some peace of mind and some long-term thinking, then I think that this will be helpful for you. So yeah. So with that said, what has Mother said? I think it's beautiful. I think true Mother is supernatural. Let's start by saying that as context. She's supernatural. She's spectacular. She's extraordinary. She's remarkable. She's worthy of remark because she is not buckled under pressure. And it's expected even before all this, was occurring. My thought was like, this is Mother we're talking about. This is, she has not lived an ordinary life. She's not an ordinary person. She doesn't think like an ordinary human. And on top of that, we have the spiritual elements of her role, her messianic role as the only begotten daughter. It's expected that she is not thinking in ordinary ways. She's thinking in a very supernatural and supernormal way. And so with that said, I think that it's even more evident when you see how she has responded and how she has reacted to these situations. Because I think for a lot of people, because it's been many, many years that that true Mother has been, how do I say this tactfully? It's been many years that true Father or true Mother have been, tested in the physical realm, if that makes sense. Spiritually, internally, I don't know. They're going through, their own spiritual battles all the time, as we all are. But I think externally speaking, as a culture, we haven't seen, Mother's been doing tours and whatnot, but also it's not to the extent that they used to many years ago, when Father was alive. And so I think for a lot of people, not everyone, for a lot of people, this is absolute confirmation that she is exactly who she says she is. At least for me, I'll speak for myself. She is confirmed to me as she's exactly who she says she is. She is somebody that is willing to go through that, and at the end of the day be like, don't worry about me, I'm fine. My gosh, that takes yeah. It's comforting, it's courageous. It puts her at a new level for me in terms of her spirit. And so I have no doubt, with that said, I have no doubt that if Mother is of that caliber and that connected to God, then I have no doubt in my mind that she is right now, this moment, feeling close to Heavenly Parent and to true Father. And she feels at peace. I have no doubt about that. I feel that we tend to project our concerns and worries, as we ought to, right? As an 80-plus-year-old woman from North Korea, we ought to, but also consider the fact that she, in her role, in her messianic position, she's in a position where I have no doubt that she is feeling one with God, and she feels less self-righteousness, which is easy to do. It was easy for Father, he could have done when he was sentenced to prison, to detention, right? It's easy for Mother to do on the surface, but because there are people of the caliber that are going to say, you know what? I could get upset, I could get self-righteous, angry, but I'm more than that. I am feeling present with God, with Heavenly Parent. I feel like there's something, like God is guiding me. I have no doubt about that. How could you for a second question that God is with her? Think about that. Of course there are mistakes. Humanity makes mistakes. My goodness. But we can focus on that and just get outraged, as you will do, by the way, if you watch the news. Or you could just say, how could I ever doubt that Heavenly Parent is with her? How could I ever doubt that God is with her? I mean, that's like, it's ludicrous to even doubt that for a second, but we tend to do. I can feel it. This forgetting that, like, God, the same God that's guided her entire life and throughout all of her lineage has guided her, the same Heavenly Parent that's guiding True Father, that's guiding you. How could we doubt for a second that God is with her? And that True Mother's emphasis and focus and her attention is towards that. I mean, she was already like that, if you didn't notice, before she was detained. She's already of somebody that thinks about Heavenly Parent first. When she gives her speeches, she always talks about Heavenly Parent's heart. She always emphasizes that. She talks about God's grieving heart. If you see her give a speech, she like clockwork will cry, will tear when she talks about Heavenly Parent and God. So she's always considering that. And that's the greatest pain for her. It's not anything else. The greatest pain for her is God's heart, Heavenly Parent's heart. And that is why she's doing the things she does. So it's insane to think that Heavenly Parent is not with her. And she doesn't feel that right now, this moment. More than ever. If anything, more than ever right now. Feeling like God is right there with her. And I hope to God, this is my secret hope, brothers and sisters. I hope to God that she feels more peace right now internally than she has ever felt before. That's my hope. And I know that's maybe like weird to say, and you can take it or leave it, but my hope is that she's sitting, wherever she's sitting, lying down, eating whatever they're feeding her. I've heard that she has a television, whatever she's going through externally, but internally, I hope she feels, this is nice. This is nice. I hope to God that's how she feels. Away from it all, away from the news, away from the palace, away from all the expectations, the external expectations that naturally we put onto someone like her, right? I hope to God she feels, this is nice. I could get used to this, this simple life. I don't know. It's hard to say. But that's my hope and prayer, is that they're treating her well enough that she will be able to just sit in peace and be like, this is nice. I guess I don't know, it's something like, I heard like 10 minutes a day, right? She's meeting like Yeonanim and Yojanim's family. And I hope to God that she's like, this is nice. I get to see my family and everything's nice. I don't know. We'll see, you guys. But that's how I feel. So this is a personal take on my stance, is that I really believe that Mother's asking us to think long term. If anything, it's think long term, brothers and sisters. Think beyond just this week, this day, this month, this year. We have to be able to think generations down the road, decades down the road. And that is what it's going to take to create this blessed family culture that we are summoned to this earth to develop, is a blessed family culture that infuses God's Heavenly Parent's love, True Parent's love to everywhere we go and everyone we touch. And in order to do that, we have to be able to think beyond what's happening right now. We have to be able to look beyond the news headlines, because my goodness, my friend, I've read a few headlines and I am livid at the way that they portray it. Not exactly at whether it's left, right, center, whatever, but specifically at the way that news outlets are incentivized to skew the narrative in favor of negativity because it makes a profit, which I understand, because they're for-profit organizations and companies that their sole priority is profits and views. And so if you read any of the article headlines, it is always some way to make Mother and the unification movement look like insane people, if you've noticed. Okay? And so this is important for you to know, because you shouldn't spend any of your time on the internet reading this negative stuff. None of it. Why? Because it's just going to make you outraged. It's just going to feed your fallen nature, because that's what it's designed to do. You should associate with none of it. I don't read any of it. My wife doesn't read any of it. Facebook, Instagram, none of it. Maybe if you receive something from your central figure or leader or Damien, whatever, sure, you can read that. But it's been intentionally given as a productive use of your time to read it. But going on the news, going into Google and say, what's new about True Mother, about Hak Jahanmun, don't do that. Let me tell you what you should do and what I do. All right, you're going to love this. Go to ChatGPT, ask AI, hey, tell me the latest about True Mother. and it will give you a summary, and you can specifically tell me the latest, just give me the facts, what has happened today, and then what will most likely happen next. And so I get all of my news from ChatGPT. You're like, oh, Benji, you don't watch the news. How do you get informed? All these stuff, ChatGPT knows more than anyone than I could find on my own. Why? Because it can scour the entire internet. It can scour the entire subreddits. It can scour in Japanese, Korean, and English and find information that is factual and will give it to me in a way that I prefer, which is factual and actually what's going on. And it's not incentivized in any way, shape, or form to feed my fallen nature or to make me outraged or sad or depressed. It'll just tell me in bullet points, this is what happened today. And then I'll follow up and say, okay, what is most likely going to happen next? And by the way, guys, my ChatGPT role has been successfully predicting every step of the way what has happened with Mother. Weeks ago, when all this stuff came up, I asked her, what's most likely going to happen? It's like, well, based on what's, traditional Korean, historically speaking, most likely she's going to be questioned, and most likely she's going to be detained. Most likely it's going to be for 10 to 20 days or stuff like this, right? So far it's been accurate. And so I'm saying this not because I'm, an avid AI fanboy. I use it because AI, at this point at least, has no monetary incentive to profit off of you being on the platform, right? Except, of course, if you're a pro user or, you have a plan. But apart from that, it doesn't have advertisement. And so that's a clear sign that something has heavy incentive to keep you on a platform as long as possible if they are benefiting from you spending more time on that platform, specifically through advertising. And so if you're going to spend any time on Google, on YouTube, on Meta, on specific news outlets, websites, they're going to try to keep you there engaged as long as possible because that's how they make advertising bucks, right? I'm not bashing big tech. I'm not bashing news. I'm just saying that it makes sense that they will try to make the story look more enraging than it actually is, or it's going to try to skew the facts a little bit so that it will not paint the whole picture. So it kind of makes you curious and be like, oh, like what is happening? You know what I'm talking about. Like look at any article about Mother. Look at any article and just pay attention to how it's headlined. Even go to Google. I do this sometimes on my phone, is I go to Google and I will go to Google News and I don't click on anything. I just want to understand how they're trying to mess with my psychology. I'm trying to understand how they're trying to hook me with the title. And then I will try to see okay, is that accurate? And I say, oh, that's interesting how they did that, because I really like marketing and advertising. That's an interest of mine. So I'm talking about news and all this because you guys have to protect your headspace. You have to think long term. And it's nearly impossible, guys, to think long term when we are day by day having our emotions swung so fiercely by what people are saying. You shouldn't do that. All you have to answer to is God in your conscience. All you have to answer to is God in your conscience. And your mother. And what has Mother said? What has Mother said? I've been watching the night vigils that they've been doing in Korea, right? So I've been listening in Korean, because I understand Korean, by the way, to the speeches, or rather short speeches, that Hyojinim's family, Yeonanim, has been giving, and her son and her sons. And I think they're good. I think they're worth watching. Shincho-nim, one thing he said that I remember the first time he showed up after Mother's detainment is he said, he understands the anger. He was like, I understand the anger. I understand. But Mother has asked us to not retaliate. And I felt that. I really felt that. And I think it takes a lot of wisdom and foresight and long-term thinking to feel that way. And so at the end of the day, guys, back to the basics. What does God feel? What is God's heart? What is God's point of view? What's God's perspective on all this? Go back to the basics. We have to go back to the basics, because the basics is everything. True love, absolute love, unconditional grace, God's love. Back to the basics. Now more than ever is when we need hondoke, actually, I believe. Not just reading it, to practice. Think about the concepts that Father and Mother have portrayed through their words. Now more than ever, we need to go back to the basics. Open up one of those old hondoke books, my friends. Go back to the basics. Go back to Chunseongyang. Go back to, The Way of God's World, The Way of Tradition, these types of books, go back to the basics and read that stuff. And then I guarantee you will look at it and be like, man, we need this more than ever. These concepts are predictions, my friend. Father and mother made predictions. They made proclamations. They were talking about this stuff decades before any of this came to light, right? So I think if anything, they were ready. Maybe they weren't ready for this specific outcome, you know? Like, I don't know if mother was expecting this type of thing, but through a certain lens, spiritually speaking, you know, through her life and her experiences, yeah, she was ready. And so I'll leave you with that. In the short term, I hope to God that she is at peace. I know she is. Gosh, I know she is. Look at her. Just look at her face when she was being questioned by all the interviewers. Look at her face when she was, you know, going to prison. Look at what she says. Look at her tone of her voice, her body language. She's at peace right now. That's short term. Long term, she's asking us to think long term. She's asking us to focus. And long term things will be okay. As they always are, because God will win in the end. Even if the devil is right here on our shoulder, right there next to us, yelling in our ears, everywhere, all the time, evil dies. Evil will kill itself out. A flood is coming. Evil will be wiped out, my friends. Gosh, look at it. Like, it can't survive. It cannot survive. And that's the way that God designed it. And then we're the ones that are going to be, you know, triumphing in the end. So don't worry about it. This is like my superpower. If you ever ask me what's a gift I have, you know, if I have any, I think I have a few things that I'm exceptional at. Most things I'm pretty mediocre, to be honest. But a few things I'm really exceptional at is I can think long term. And I know how to plan for you know, decades and generations from now, and I think about that stuff a lot. So if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation or let me know anything on your heart, then please do. Yeah, please find me and DM me or something. It's probably the easiest way to reach me on Instagram. Send me a message and we can connect there. All right. Okay, lots of love. God bless you. God bless the world. God bless Korea. God bless mother. God bless father. God bless God. God bless you. All right, see ya.